This next card is just going to be a very simple and cute little birthday card. I have another piece of watercolor paper that I've cut to 6 by 9 inches, and I'm just folding it in half right now. And the key to folding paper like this in half, because it's so thick, is to kind of match up those edges and hold that in place while you press down on the crease, because it's really easy for this kind of paper to slip and then you end up with a fold that isn't right down the middle. And then this is just another little saying that I printed off of my computer, and I'm using my carbon paper just to very lightly trace it onto my watercolor paper. And this pen that I'm using and I will have in class, this is called a micron pen. And the big thing here is that these pens have an ink in them that is water resistant. So I can paint over this with watercolor and it won't smudge the ink. And this isn't the case for most inks, especially inks in the pens that you have lying around. For this particular card, I'm not going to go over the words with any watercolor, but we will do some cards that have that, so that's going to be important. And what I did before I started drawing the cupcake onto my card, I just practiced a little bit on some computer paper just to make sure I had a shape that I liked, and then I drew it onto my watercolor paper and went over it with that micron pen again. And now I'm ready to start painting. And I'm gonna just keep this really simple and cute. I'm imagining that, maybe I'm gonna give this to a female friend. So I'm gonna paint the cupcake pink. And I'm starting out with just the flame, and I'm painting it yellow for now. But I will add some orange in there in a little bit, but I'll let that sit for now. And then I'm going in with this really light kind of pinkish or magenta, and I'm just very lightly painting that color onto the frosting of the cupcake. And then while this is still wet, I'm going to go in with even more of my watercolor and just add a few spots of really bright, bold color. And I'm just gonna let that kind of all bleed together and merge a little bit. But I wanna have some light areas and some really bright areas. And the next thing, I'm just gonna clean up some of the edges. Some of the paint got out of the lines, and I think that sometimes you just have to embrace that. It's just the nature of watercolor, actually. It's hard to control. And now I'm going back into the flame, and I have some red on my paintbrush, but I'm keeping it really, really light, and so when I put it on top of that yellow, it kind of creates an orange. And then I'm leaving the center part, like at the bottom of the flame, a little bit more yellow, so we get kind of a fiery glow up there. And then I just added a little bit more red up at the tip of the flame. And now I just need to wait for this to dry a little bit, and you can also use a paper towel to blot anything, like if there's a lot of water standing there and it's going to take a long time to dry. You might want to blot it with some paper towel, which will also add a little bit of texture. And now that everything's all dry, I'm just going over the cupcake one more time with my pen, just to make it stand out a little bit more.